Thanks for joining us. This is the first office hours that we're doing, and the goal here is to see if you guys need any help, especially with your quizzes, with anything that we touched on during day one. That's mostly cadence and running your cadence code locally. So we're here to help, and raise your hand, ask questions, and feel free to join.
Yeah, so for anyone that's joining us, thank you for joining, and feel free to also use the Office Hours text channel to ask any questions there. If you don't want to unmute, I can always answer your questions there in real time. So just feel free to unmute, post there, and we're really just here to answer any questions you may have about Quest, the program itself, or Cadence in general, or whatever it may be.
And while we wait, I guess I'll just meander a little bit with, I think this was the scratch pad for day one. We're printing a canvas, a picture. Here we go. I remember some people being disappointed in their pictures being destroyed by the end of the scope. So day two, you'll be glad that there's a quest to solve that once and for all. So if you guys are excited about storing your pictures, look at content for day two. All right, I guess I can implement, I think it was, yeah, the display function. So we have a canvas. We can get rid of this. Right. So how do we display an array of strings? Well, and by the way, interrupt me at any point. This is me just meandering. Display canvas. All right, so we take a canvas argument, and I guess we don't need to return anything. Let's just log the argument for sanity's sake. Take that and comment this out. Display canvas. And we send the letter X canvas. Oh, argument label is missing. This is a good instance for adding or avoiding an argument label. Right now, the argument label is canvas, but we can do an underscore, and that will not require us to have an argument label at the call site. So this will now run. All right, so we're printing the canvas. We want to print the pixels, I guess. Okay. All right, so we have a string, a pretty long string, so we need to cut it up into slices. Let's see. Create a variable. Let's call it line. Start with 0, and then while line is less than canvas dot height. Let's just print line. Oh, this is an infinite loop. That'd be a bad idea if I ran this. Equals line plus 1. Okay. Oh, all right. Let's convert this into an int. All right, 0 through 4. So now we gotta slice it up. Let slice or row, I guess. We take the canvas, we take the pixels, we slice from, so we're going to do from line times width up. I'll add a new line. Second argument is from to, so we'll just do up to line plus 1 times width. And let's see what that looks like. Oh boy, not found in the scope, of course. All right. Oh yeah. Again, let's declare this as a uint8, I guess. We'll simplify things. Okay. Array. So let's call this an int. Let's convert this into an unsigned integer. And the rest should be fine. Type safety, this is what it looks like. Expected int. All right. What's canvas height? uint8. All right. I'll just convert that to an int. Sorry, I'm going to undo some stuff, but this is all for type safety. All right, and then what does this thing expect? Cannot apply line times. All right, so we need this converted into an int. And same here. Okay. So we got our x printed. Right. Now I do remember there was a frame as part of the quest. So how do we add a frame? Well, we can take a look at the width and height and just add a line before and after. Let's see. Well, we can add borders to the sides at least really quickly. So we take a border, we concatenate that with the row, and then concatenate that again with another border. And we get horizontal borders. How do we get the vertical ones? Well, we can print one right before. Yep. So it's just a placeholder. So log plus, and then top border. The length will be determined later. And same at the bottom. Just so that we can squint and see it. Yeah. Seems about right. So we just need to determine the length of this thingy, how long it should be. So we'll do, there's no repeat function for strings on Cadence. So we'll do column var column start at 0 while it's less than canvas dot width. We'll, yep. Buffer. Concat with a minus. And what else? So this should give us the middle, and now we just print the two sides by concatenating. The top part should look fine. Oh, yeah, infinite loop. Column equals column plus 1. Yep, the top looks fine. We can we can create another function. Pub fun display top border canvas vertical border. We'll take that, pass on our canvas for the top and bottom. Holy moly. Canvas is not found. Wait, column is not found. Oh. Whoops daisy there. Clear. All right, so this is, I believe, class one solution, I guess. I don't even recall if I solved it originally this way, but seems to fit the specification.
Awesome. Thanks for showing us that.
Quest 2, I guess. We're 13 minutes in. Any questions, by the way? Jacob, anything?
Feel free to, I was going to say, for anyone in here, feel free to unmute yourself or ask in the chat if you have any questions about this.
Redline?
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
No.
Oh, sorry. I thought you had a question. All right. I guess we can continue with the printer resource. Right? Display canvas, display vertical border. All right. So we have our canvas. We have our picture. But nothing is preventing us from printing however many we want, or creating however many pictures from the same canvas. So for example, I'm just going to showcase the problem. Letter X, duplicate, and I'm just going to create a picture from the same canvas X. All right. Now what I should see is two identical canvases. Oh, loss of resource, of course. What we create, we must destroy. Clear. Boom. So that's the problem. We want uniqueness. We want to ensure that this thing maintains some value, and value is maintained if things are not replicated easily, or that's the idea at least. So what we're going to do is declare another resource, and let's call it printer. And the purpose here will be it'll print pictures from a canvas. All right, so we initialize it. We don't have anything in terms of fields, so nothing in the initializer. And we'll just have a public function for printing. Taking a canvas. And, right, so we want to return a picture, which is a resource. So we use the @ symbol to note that. And we want to make it so that sometimes if a picture has been printed, we'll just return nil. So it's going to be an optional picture resource. So it's a nice envelope around picture with an @ and a question mark on both ends. All right, so we're just going to pretend that we print the thing. We're going to call display canvas for now. And so we're going to comment this out and comment these out. Let's create a new resource, printer, create printer, takes in no arguments, and then we just try it so that we don't get any errors. And sanity check, let's call the print method. Printer, print. Okay, and the canvas is going to be canvas X. Let's clear this out. Missing return statement. But of course, we have declared this. We're not returning anything. Let's return nil. Loss of resource. 88. Oh, so this returns an optional resource, but that's still a resource. So we have to destroy it, even though we're not returning anything other than nil. Clear. All right, so we just printed something. In fact, instead of destroying it immediately, I'm going to prepare for the eventual state where this works. Letter X. Again with the arrow notation. And just to be sort of super explicit, this is @ picture question mark, an optional picture. All right, check if it still works. Loss of resource. Yep, that's expected because we're just assigning it. When we got a scope right here, that resource is still in memory, and we haven't assigned it to anything or passed it on to anything. So we have to destroy it. Destroy letter X. That should do it. All right. So we just pretend that we print something. Now let's stop pretending and let's figure out a solution for how to ensure that a canvas can only be printed once. The most basic approach would be to declare a print dictionary. The key will be a string, and the value is going to be canvas. So the string is going to be the pixels that identify each canvas uniquely. And I mean, if it looks differently, it'll have different pixels And so that takes care of sort of, oh, is this a unique picture or not? Well, if it has different pixels, it's a unique picture. Yeah, and it's going to store a canvas. Doesn't really matter what we store here. All we need is, we just need to make sure that that particular list of pixels or string of pixels has been used or not previously. So this could be a Boolean or something else. All right, so we're gonna initialize this field, because every field has to be initialized. Thankfully, we can do it with an empty dictionary, and no one's gonna complain. Or so I thought. Cannot use incomplete. Oh, of course. Do we make this private? This is a topic for a different day. So everything's public. All right. Cannot use incomplete. At the what now? 29. Self dot. Oh, prints. Darn it. All right. Pass the sanity check. So now we have a prints dictionary. All right. So what then? Well, we ask the prints dictionary if it. Well, let's see. I had a reference somewhere. Believe it or not, I don't remember all the methods. I have my handy day one GitHub README. And yep. So the function I'm looking for is contains key. Contains key. And the key I'm looking for is the canvas pixels. So if that's true, we're going to do something. If that's false, we're going to do something else. Well, that's something else pretty clear. We're going to return nil. Okay. If that's true, let's first create a picture. So that's going to be a resource. And we're going to create a new picture. And that picture takes in a canvas, and we have that ready. Oh, canvas. Okay. Then let's update our prints dictionary with the canvas pixels, having a value set, and finally return picture with the arrow notation. Isn't that nice? Like, it's always with you, no matter where you go. You can't mistake it for anything else. All right, so now we don't need this return nil. And let's see. Incorrect argument label. Expected none got key. Oh, I was looking at a different method. That's true. This does not take a key. All right. Expected create, of course. Create picture. How silly of me. All right, so that works. We did it once. I want to make sure whether this is nil or not. So how do we do this? We can log. I guess we can log. Well, this is quest 2, by the way. We're doing quest 2. So if we have this set, we can check for canvas pixels. Canvas has no member pixels. Oh. It's a chain of optionals. Nil. It's a strange occurrence. Oh, of course, if it does not contain. So if it contains, we're not going to print it. If it does contain it, we're going to return now. Boom. Now let me prove it to you that this fulfills the requirement. I'm going to try and create a duplicate of letter X. Initialize it with the same canvas, and let's see what this lie prints. And destroy letter X duplicate. Clear it out. Nil. So here we go. Our printer refuses to print a duplicate canvas since it already has one in its prints dictionary right here. So this is a basic implementation of printer. Of course, you can go like hardcore with your checks for if the length and if the amount of pixels in this canvas fits with whatever this printer has assigned for width and height. You can check for obviously a string can be anything, but we only want to deal with visual characters. So ASCII, limit the ASCII range so we can loop through each character and see if that fits within the range, and all sorts of stuff to protect ourselves. An argument could be made though that it would make sense for those checks to exist in a transaction. So like when you're submitting a print order with a transaction, maybe that can refuse to accept your parameters if you have some invalid characters and so forth. But yeah, this fulfills Quest 2 requirements of printing something once and refusing it to print it again. And 27 minutes later, we have all of our quests fulfilled. How are we looking, Jacob?
Pretty good. I'm not sure if you saw this question. You might have, but someone asked, I do not understand Quest 2. What do you mean by but only once for each unique 5x5 canvas?
Oh, well, this is what I mean. The 5x5 is a standard that we're working towards, and let's see. I'll try to visualize it. So we have this app, artist.flowdeveloper.com, and let's authenticate. By the way, by Friday, the expectation is that all of us will have this running locally. All right, so what we have here is a 5x5 canvas where we can draw with the mouse. Oh, something. All right, and since we're building these Lego blocks that will eventually get us to a DAP that looks like this, the 5x5 is just a convention. So that part hopefully answers your question. As for uniqueness, well, the key thing here is, all right, so we printed this picture. It's a abstract painting of a negative plus. But if we try and print it again with the same canvas pixels, it will refuse us. So we're submitting a transaction to the testnet right here. And it'll come back soon enough with an answer. Let's just hold on. Oops, this picture already exists. So unlike, let's say, NBA Top Shot, where a moment can exist 10,000 different times and more, a single canvas is unique. You print it, it's out in the world, and that's it. No one else can replicate it. So I have the following collection. you guys can visit this link and see what kind of canvases I have. Yeah. So the 5x5 is this convention. Uniqueness is we want to make sure that each canvas can be an NFT that can be traded, and we want to make it a simple way to track them. And so by limiting how many instances of a canvas can we print to one, we simplify the requirement a little bit. Hopefully that answers your question.
Sweet. Other than that, I think everyone's questions are being answered. To anyone that just joined, if you have any questions, you can unmute or ask in the office hours text chat. I'm fielding questions there, and other than that.
Oh boy, I see a lot of stuff coming in. So resources are like singletons in the end. Well, can we get office hours video? I'm recording this, and I'm not sure about the audio quality because the mic setup is pretty new, but the video at least is gonna be live for sure. If you can interpret the audio, then it's a bonus. Well, the audio is good. I guess it's good for Discord, but I'm recording it over OBS. I'm pretty new with OBS, and I'm not sure how that's going to turn out. I think it's recording over it's recording over my MacBook speakers, or mic rather. All right. So who's been able to check out the day 2 content? It's moving us towards the blockchain, because what we did day 1, that's pretty much, you could do that with any programming language. You're printing stuff, you're concatenating strings and so forth. Yeah, I mean, the concept here is that we're shipping content daily, and we're working on the content daily, and it's like a massive steamroller that's just pushing everyone along.
I'm curious, what is everyone's initial reaction to learning Cadence? I remember when I first started learning it, I had a mini panic attack, but I love it now, and I hope you're all enjoying it so far.
Yeah, I remember starting up with resources and how tedious it was to pass everything along. It's you really get explicit, but you can't make mistakes that easy if it's super explicit. Well, that's great.
It's very easy to follow. Yeah, I agree that is one benefit of Cadence, and that you do have to be very explicit, right? Like, you have to make sure you don't lose your resources. You have to put labels in function calls. But one benefit of that is that it does make it easier for you, because you can directly see exactly what's happening, and that's what I really like about Cadence.
It's really legible. Like, if you look at this, letter X, which is a picture. And then, you figure out what this means, but then printer.print, and then what are you printing? You're printing a canvas. Which canvas? This canvas. Whereas, with a JavaScript type or something similar, you would be able to obfuscate the meaning and with shorthand and whatnot. And it'd be a lot harder to follow. But this is like, I guess a lot of it comes from Swift, where you have long method names, function names, variable names, that kind of thing. It's a whole vibe.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, whenever I whenever I open up Android Studio, it's like everything starts buzzing, and my fans are like into overdrive, but yeah, it's overbearing. VS Code is nice for everything that's not native development, because you don't need a lot for non-native development. Yeah, like you have to have a simulator. You have to think about how your UI looks. Composing that within Android Studio is a thing. Like I remember at least back a couple years, like XML was used for UI, then Kotlin or Java for the logic, then a different form of XML for your manifest, and just one single app required a bunch of background knowledge. I guess the idea behind dApps is that sort of you get a front end going, and then the back end, you don't even need to worry about database stuff. Like for Android, if you're storing anything, you're going to use SQLite, so that's another thing you need to pick up, like how to store, read, update values with SQL. Here, it's just, well, if you're reading a value, then, that value is stored somewhere on the blockchain. It's not some other language that you have to learn. So you just pick up a front end and all the back end stuff is ready.
What don't you like about Cadence? I think that's a great question, actually, and it's important to discuss when you're initially learning Cadence. And I'm sure you can see a lot of it now, but I guess my first answer is that in Cadence everything is very explicit, like we've been talking about, right? When you make a function call, you have to put labels in, especially with resources, and you'll be learning more about this in the upcoming days. But with resources, you always have to store them somewhere, or you always have to move them. You can't lose them. And as we start getting into access control, which you'll be learning about soon, it becomes very hard to actually do things that you want to do. And with any smart contract language like Cadence, sometimes it lacks like math capabilities like power, square root. But actually Nick, who's with us at Decentology, gave an answer in the Burning Questions chat the other day that with any smart contract language, it's expensive to run this code right on the blockchain, and so there's a reason why the languages like Cadence or even Solidity are very limited in scope and what they can do. But to get back to your question, in terms of Cadence specifically, I would say that because everything is so explicit and because you have to keep track of all your resources and stuff like that, it's difficult to do some parts of functionality that we'll get into next week. I don't want to spoil that just yet. But at least that's my answer there. And Morgan, I'm not sure if you have an answer to that as well. But
I agree with everything you just said. The mindset there is a little different from a regular programming language. What we're doing during week one especially is we're sort of meandering around the language and doing all kinds of silly things that one might not do if he or she was an experienced app developer. The goal here is to learn, and we're putting a lot on Cadence. But once you start getting into production stuff, like Nick said and Jacob said, like you want to offload all the non-essential stuff, everything that's not really blockchain related, to your front end, and then submit whatever is necessary for the transaction. So that kind of sea change, you have to learn what you do on the blockchain and do everything else elsewhere. And your second point is making dApps faster is a thing, but again, it's a trade-off, right? when you're thinking about what happens when I send a transaction, um, a whole bunch of machines gets to store that, process that, confirm it, check the cryptography, and build up a block, and then finalize that block, add it to the blockchain. It's a lot of stuff, and by the nature of it, you can't do it instantly, even though Flow is like super fast, and it'll get faster, maybe like 2x down the line. But yeah, it's like the slowness of it is by design. And you'll see the same thing with sort of NBA Top Shot and stuff. When you're trading moments, like it takes time. But that's the nature of the beast. You're trading your time for the decentralized nature of it all.
Yep. Yep, totally agree. And there are minor things you can do when you're developing with Cadence. Like, if you look at the Flow documentation, they have these things called precondition and postcondition checks on stuff like functions and similar stuff. And those usually can help you make your dApp faster, because if you add, like, basically what it is like if you make a function call, it'll check to make sure that maybe you sent in a correct balance, or maybe you passed in the wrong type, and these conditions can help your dApp run faster before executing a whole bunch of code that would end up breaking anyway or panicking. So there are minor things you can do, but I think what Morgan said is the best answer there.
Yeah, so totally, like pre-flight checks and making sure that you don't send faulty transactions to be processed if they're going to be returned anyway.
Yep. I guess someone here asked, do you guys work on any production Flow projects at the moment? Well, my most recent Flow projects for production, well, I do develop, I am the lead Flow developer at Decentology, so I do a bunch of projects there. But maybe you've heard of MotoGP Ignition. I wrote and designed the smart contracts for MotoGP Ignition. It's like, if you've heard of like NBA Top Shot, it's kind of like motorcycles instead of basketball. So I did do that, and that was very fun. And I kind of learned a lot of my Cadence skills through that.
Yeah, Jacob, that's an epic project. It's huge.
Yeah, no, it has been going really well, and it's been fun to check up on it and see how the community responds to it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's nothing but love there.
Yeah. One basic question is, what is the rationale behind developing a new programming language in most of the respective new blockchains? Isn't it better to be able to standardize one language and use it in new blockchains, as most of them are on top of Ethereum? To be honest with you, I think maybe Morgan or Nick would give you a better answer, but at least my initial reaction to this is Cadence was a response to, I think, a lot of the ways that Solidity lacked. For those of you that don't know, Solidity is the smart contract language for the Ethereum mainnet and many other blockchains as well. I think that one of the things that Cadence addresses is a lot of security concerns that Solidity doesn't have. For example, in Solidity, you can pass in, some sort of like a ton of money, and the smart contract could, lose it or do whatever with it. So it's very easy for a developer to mess up in Solidity. But in Cadence, as many of you have probably seen, because it's so explicit, it's very hard for the developer to mess up, lose money, lose resources, stuff like that. And so in that sense, maybe one of the reasons that you would develop a new programming language is for security reasons, to help developers in their development. I think another thing is that, just with any language, Cadence, because it's so explicit, it makes it easier for the developer to read, so it's more readable. A lot of the times when you go to some smart contract that was written in Solidity, you end up staring at it for a half hour, having no idea what's going on. But at least with Cadence, it's much more readable. And I do think that, in my opinion, the security concerns it addresses are the best. But that's just my simple answer.
I would just add, like, technology moves forward, and programming languages, just another technology, and just like we have Kotlin for Android, even though there's Java, people develop Kotlin to improve certain things, add developer quality of life improvements, and iOS had Objective-C, now it has Swift, so it's I don't see it as a negative as long as there's quantifiable improvements in terms of productivity and performance, and at least from the perspective of performance and personal productivity, I can say that I'm a lot better with Cadence than I'm with Solidity, and for sure it's a lot easier to read when you look at any kind of contract.
Yep. Yeah, and if you're still curious about this question, I would definitely ask Nick about it, because he could go on an hour-long rant about stuff like this. So definitely good to hit him up.
I remember, and this is me meandering a little bit, but I remember spending some time on Reddit and looking at some of the Moonshot coins, some of their contracts, and like all of them are written in an obscure form of Solidity, like an old buggy version of Solidity, and super obfuscated. Like it's hard to read, even though they're supposedly ERC-20 contracts, but they're like super weird. And a part of that is to discourage people from taking a look at what's in the contract and just sort of assuming, yeah, that's fine, whatever. Whereas, I mean, not everybody's going to write a contract, but if most people were able to read contracts and they were succinct enough, and maybe there would be less room for fraud and scams. And Cadence, with its legibility, provides some of those benefits, whereas Solidity can look really obtuse and sort of hard to pierce through.
A fantastic point.
We got 12 more minutes. This is fun, by the way.
Yeah, this has been great.
It's almost like recording a video, but there's someone there.
Yeah.
While we're waiting, I'm gonna go to Reddit and look to see if I can find one of these coins.
That's a great idea, Gizmo. I actually, I'm a big video gamer myself, and so I've always loved using Twitch just to stream video games. But I was thinking of maybe doing some sort of Twitch channel where, we do these kind of talks where we just field questions and answer them, or even go through some simple Cadence examples and anything like that. You guys should also check out Morgan's YouTube channel. Morgan, I don't know if you want to link that, but he has some great resources up there for anyone that's learning Cadence, and I'm sure you've seen all the videos already that he's posted for the boot camp.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, if you look up Flow Developer on YouTube, you should be able to find that channel if it's getting indexed right.
Yeah, he has some really great resources there. Samina, did you go over the question day one? I missed anything? Yes, we did go over the question day one, but if you have any questions about it, you can ask us either in the voice channel or in this chat that you're already in. The session was also recorded, so you can go back and look at those if you need as well. Awesome, sounds good. Nice.
I'm giving up. There's just so much trash over there. That's awesome, Sandeep. Straight into flow, right? After work. What a way to relax.
Yeah, it indeed is relaxing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, programming, like, there's this instructor, I believe MIT, he's got a very massive course, like the Intro to CS, Professor Gutag, I believe. And he's like, started the first lecture, says that programming is the most fun you can have with your clothes on. So, I mean, I agree.
True.
Moonshot coins. Yep, that's the Reddit. I would not suggest anyone go there. Like, it's
Yeah, Reddit can be a scary place. What a fun place too.
Oh yeah, I mean that's where most of the crypto came from.
Yeah. I'll also make sure to make an announcement about when we have the recording for this office hours ready, so you can all view that.
However, the audio might be garbage, so.
Yeah, it's sort of a test run.
Yeah, this whole thing is a test run, by the way, and we really appreciate everyone's feedback along the way. Like, I remember a comment that I saw yesterday was that audio was really hard to pick up, and that's true. My audio levels for the videos I did were all over the place, but hopefully today's video is much better in that respect, and the one that's on YouTube, and you guys can hear and understand everything. So it's a learning process for everyone involved.
Yeah, thank you guys for being a part of this. The office hours recording, yeah. So I'll make an announcement, or Chase will make an announcement when we get the office hour recording available to you. Do I submit my quest if I found most of it? Yeah, no, go ahead. Please submit your quest so that others can see it. But also because I'll be going through and giving some feedback if you want at least. And so that'll be good.
And Jacob, like, I remember Nick saying that at the end of this 3-week boot camp, there's going to be some prizes.
Yep.
So you guys definitely submit what you got. And this is asynchronous, right? There's no like, day one's passed, whatever, don't submit anything. Like, you're not too late if you complete the assignment.
Yep. Yeah, even if it stays late, you can always just submit it. As long as you put some effort in, submitted it, it's all good.
We got 5 minutes left.
You two lose Solana for anything? Personally, I've never used Solana, although the DAppSonar platform that we bring to you at Decentology, that has some Solana projects on it. But no, I don't. I've never used Solana myself. Have you, Morgan?
I have it, although I did sign up for the hackathon that they did a couple weeks ago or something, and it's an interesting piece of tech, but I didn't find it as approachable as Flow. obviously there's like an implicit targeting for what kind of audience the blockchain is designed for, and you can definitely leave with an impression from looking at all the material provided by Flow that it's geared towards developers, and especially developers that are just getting into blockchain.
Yeah, and to all you here, feel free to ask any general blockchain questions you have. The hope is that we create a nice community here where we can all help each other out and help each other learn. So, any questions go. Of course, yeah. Thank you for coming.
This is probably as much fun for us as it is for any of you guys. Thank you, Jedi.
Thanks for the kind words, Jedi. Thank you.
Yeah, who's the ultimate arbiter when it comes to Jedi ranks?
Yeah, thanks everyone for the kind words. And we'll be doing these office hours, I think, daily, right, Morgan? I'm pretty sure we have some planned for tomorrow as well. And
yeah,
Thursday and Friday. Yeah, so we'll be doing this pretty much every day. So feel free to come.
Now there's going to be, I think tomorrow we have the same time, but Thursday might be different. There's going to be an announcement before each one starts, and I think Chase is going to let you guys know how they are planned. But it's a daily thing.
Yep.
All right, so we're getting close. So I'm just going to recap a little bit what we did. So I just did to start. I implemented a display, a framed display of a canvas using these two functions right here. Nothing too out of this world. Looping over each line and concatenating borders around it, and then generating a special border for the top and bottom. And that's that. And also implemented a printer that makes sure that there's only ever one unique picture per canvas using a dictionary. You can also achieve the same result with an array. But for this, I chose a dictionary. I think the original implementation was an array. So we check whether the dictionary contains that key. If it does, then we skip returning a picture. If it doesn't, we create a picture and we return that. So that's quests 1 and 2 for day 1. Now, for anyone that's gonna do quests 3 and 4, quick note. Let's reload this. So there's going to be files. Let me pick the right branch. So we have 2 files in the folder for day 2. Artist.contract.cdc. That contains the stub for what you need for what you need to implement for quest 3 right here. My precious, and getcollections.script.cdc is a stub for what's needed for quest 4. So if you're thinking how to put things together, you can go to week 1 day 2, and there's these 2 stubs in here, and you should be able to fill them out and copy in what you have in Playground, or work on VS Code, doesn't matter. And with that, Jacob, we're ready to go, right?
Yeah, we're wrapping up here. So have fun with these day 2 quests. Please ask questions in the Burning Questions channel. I'll be taking those all day, and I know Morgan will be too. We love questions, and we're so glad that you guys are enjoying the experience so far.
Yeah, we love your questions, and we love your submissions. There's some real creativity going on there, so please keep them coming. And if you want feedback on your quests, please DM me or just at me, so I can go through those and let you know what you guys may be doing great or wrong or whatever it may be. So. All right. So with that, have a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow.